Whether it was early morning practices, Friday night games, or the quiet leadership they've shown off the field, each of our seniors has played a vital role in shaping their team and inspiring the next generation of Tigers. So before we introduce these outstanding individuals, let's take a moment to cheer them on, thank their families, and celebrate the pride of Kingston High School. Please join me in honoring our senior cheerleaders. First, we have Kiera Boyd Longy. She's walking with her mother Jennifer, her grandmother Consuela, and two siblings, Michael Jr. and Carter. In memory of her beloved father, Michael, Kiera would like to recognize Senorita Rodriguez Mendez, who has supported her throughout her high school career. Kiera Boyd Longy. Congratulations. Next we have Captain Emily Jansen. She's walking with her mom Julie and dad Todd. Emily would like to acknowledge her grandparents, Janice Jansen and Nancy and Gregory Jansen, and give a special shout out to her best friends Eileen, Grace and Jillian, and the entire Varsity cheer team. Emily Jansen. Next we have Captain Aylin Niles, walking with her mom Dale and dad Mel Niles, grandparents Steve and Lynn Shabbat, and her little sister Taylor. Aylin would also like to mention her best friend and twin sister Brooke, who could not be here tonight. Lastly, a big thanks to her teammates and coaches Kate and Allie for pushing her to always be her best. Aylin Niles. And now we'd like to honor our senior football players. Number 1, senior captain and quarterback Jack Purvis. Jack has been a 3-year starter for the Kingston High School Tigers. He's joined tonight by his parents Amy and John, sister Riley, and grandparents Mary Ann and Floyd. Jack Purvis, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior is number 3, wide receiver Cole Thorpe MacArthur. Cole is joined by his mother Audrey, father Jesus, stepfather Mark, sister Liliana, brother Devin, and grandmother Maureen. Cole Thorpe MacArthur, everyone. Our next senior, number 7,
yeah, Cole.
captain, wide receiver and corner, Jack No. Jack is joined by his dad Jason and his mom India. Jack No, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, number 11, tight end Gabriel Carr. Gabe is joined by his mom Andrea, stepfather Joe, stepmother Megan, sister Amethyst, brothers Keegan, Dominic and Elliot, his grandparents John and Leslie, his grandmother Jean, aunts Patty and Nancy, Uncle Ernie, and cousins Bailey and Helena. Walking with Gabe in spirit is Carol Fabiano and EJ Fabiano, Gabe's beloved godfather. Forever missed, never forgotten. If heaven wasn't so far away, they'd be right beside us here tonight. With Gabe plans to enlist in the U.S. Army after high school, started playing football in 8th grade, and would like to thank his coaches and teammates for a great experience. Gabe Carr, ladies and gentlemen. Our Our next senior, number 13, running back linebacker, Calvin Bird Towns. Calvin is joined tonight by his mom, Candace, his dad, Kelvin, and his sister, Callie. Calvin Bird Towns, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, number 14, tight end, Egan Bamberry. Egan is joined by his parents, Nicholas and Lori. Our next senior, number 50, sorry, that's Egan Bamberry, ladies and gentlemen. Next senior, number 50, captain, offensive lineman, defensive end, Curtis Owens. Curtis is joined by his mom, grandparents, and brothers and sisters. Curtis wants to thank his mom and grandparents for all their help and the sacrifices they have made. Ladies and gentlemen, Curtis Owens. Our next senior, number 53, Danny Stavropoulos, the left guard. Danny is joined by his parents, Julie and Andrew, sister Grace, and grandparents, Laura and Doc. His brother, Matt, couldn't be here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Stavropoulos. Our next senior, number 54, O-lineman, D-lineman, Louis Geddes. Louis is joined by his parents, Latoya and Luis, and Hernandez, Cadis, Sosa, Polly, and Justin. Luis Geddes, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, number 55, O-lineman, defensive tackle, Brody Dittis. Brody is joined by his parents, Mike and Lisa, and brother Carter. Brody will be attending college in the fall to study business. He'd like to thank his grandparents who could not be here tonight for all of their support. He'd also like to thank all of his coaches and teammates since modified football. Brody Dittis, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, number 60, center Liam Sullivan. Liam is joined by his father, Tim, his mother, Alicia, brother, Brian, stepfather, Joe, and grandmother, Patricia. Liam Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, number 63, Wayne Clausey. Wayne is joined by his mom, Evie, his dad, Wayne, his sister, Lena, stepmother, Melissa, and grandfather, Robert. That's Wayne Clausey, ladies and gentlemen. Our next senior, number 72, O-lineman, D-lineman, Jason Gaddis. Jason is joined by his mom, Kim, his brother, Carter, Aunt Hope, and uncles Lou and Billy, and his cousins, Haley and Violet. Jason Gaddis, ladies and gentlemen. And our final senior, number 77, O-lineman, D-lineman, Melshawn Taylor Davis. Mel is joined by his mom, Ashley, aunt Brittany, brother Ryan, and cousins Marcus and Sanaya. Melshawn Taylor Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Before we pause to allow for pictures of our seniors and their families with their posters, we have one more important recognition for the evening. At this time, Kingston Football would like to recognize one of our senior fathers tonight for being the longtime voice of the Kingston Tiger football program. Help me honor Mike Dittis for his unwavering dedication, passion, and countless years of bringing the spirit of Kingston Tigers to life through his voice. His words have echoed through generations, capturing the heart of every game and the pride of our community. Thank you for being the voice behind the roar. If you could all join me, we know what he says, and that's going to be good enough for another Tigers first down. Yeah. Thanks for everything, Mike.